My beloved child, something urgent is unfolding in the unseen realm right now, and your spirit already feels it. On this December 1st, a day marked in the heavens long before you were even born, both Archangel Michael and Jesus are releasing a final call, a last chance moment. And if you are hearing this message today, it is not by accident, it is not by coincidence, and it is certainly not random. Something sacred is trying to reach you before it is too late. The title you just read is not an exaggeration, not a scare tactic, and not a dramatic phrase. It is a heavenly alert. December 1st, last chance. Archangel Michael and Jesus say, "You will lose both of us if you skip. You have only 15 seconds. You not skip no matter what, please, I beg you." These words were whispered into the atmosphere because a window is closing, not forever, but for this season. And Archangel Michael has stepped forward, sword drawn, light blazing, ready to shift something around you that has been resisting divine order for far too long. Listen closer, because the very thing trying to push you to scroll away is the same force that has been trying to separate you from your breakthrough, your peace, your clarity, and your divine protection. Michael has been engaged in heavy spiritual warfare for your name, your home, your destiny. And Jesus is standing with open arms, calling you into a moment of safety, alignment, and direction. They are not warning you because you are in danger. They are warning you because you are on the edge of transformation. This is why the message feels urgent. This is why your heart is beating differently as you hear these words. Heaven is trying to get your attention, because the countdown to a major shift has already begun. There is something you were supposed to release before the year ends. Something you were supposed to walk away from. Something you were supposed to surrender. Something you were supposed to heal from. And December 1st has been chosen as the turning point, the reset button, the divine checkpoint. Archangel Michael is showing a vision of a spiritual clock. The hands are trembling. The minutes are not moving normally. They are pulsing like a heartbeat. Every pulse represents a choice, obedience or delay, awakening or numbness, clarity or confusion, stepping into the light or staying in the storm. And Jesus whispers, "My child, you cannot afford to miss this moment. You have lingered long enough. Come back to me before the noise pulls you away again." Right now, a spiritual tug-of-war is happening over your attention, your focus, and your emotions. That is why distractions have been increasing. That is why you feel tired in your soul. That is why you have been questioning yourself more than usual. Because something does not want you to hear this message, but heaven fought to get it in front of you anyway. Michael is revealing that in the past few weeks you have brushed off small signs, repeating numbers, dreams that felt too real, sudden thoughts that came out of nowhere, unexpected heaviness, unexpected peace, unexplained warnings, unusual coincidences. These were not ordinary moments. These were divine sparks designed to guide your heart toward this message today. This is your moment to breathe and recognize heaven is still speaking to you. Heaven has not forgotten you. Heaven has not abandoned you. Heaven has not withdrawn from you. But heaven is urging you, urgently, lovingly, intensely, to not drift right now. Something powerful is coming in the next few days, and it requires your awareness. It requires your spirit to be alert. It requires you to stay connected, not disconnected. Jesus is saying, "Do not lose me. Do not walk away from my voice. You have come too far to turn back now." And Archangel Michael ends, "Stand still. I am fighting battles you do not see. If you turn away now, the enemy will attempt to silence what heaven is unlocking for you. This is why you cannot skip. This is why you are being begged to stay. This is why the message feels weighty. Because this is not entertainment. This is alignment. This is not content. This is calling. You are being positioned for something that will make sense later, but requires obedience now. There is a breakthrough assigned to your name. There is protection already forming around you. There is clarity being prepared for you. But all of it depends on your willingness to stay connected in this moment. Before this day ends, something in your atmosphere will shift, and you will feel it. The weight lifting. A whisper in your spirit. A sudden peace. A sudden awareness. A sudden realization. It will be the confirmation that heaven is not only speaking, it is intervening. Hold on, because the next revelation coming to you is even stronger, and it carries the key to what you have been praying for. Type "I receive the warning" in the comments if this is speaking to your spirit. Blessing code 419 has just been released. My cherished one, breathe for a moment, because what is unfolding now requires your full attention. The atmosphere around you is shifting again, and Archangel Michael is stepping even closer than before. His presence is not distant, not symbolic, not poetic. It is active, alert, and intentional. And today, he brings a message that goes deeper than warning. It goes into revelation about what has been blocking you, what has been following you, and what has been preparing to break off your life the moment you align with this divine moment. On December 1st, a spiritual countdown began. Not a countdown of fear, but a countdown of awakening. That is why the title was given exactly the way it is. December 1st. Last chance. Archangel Michael and Jesus say, "You will lose both of us if you skip." You have only 15 seconds. Do not skip no matter what, please, I beg you. These are not human words. They are divine urgency wrapped in human language. And Michael now reveals that this countdown is connected to a spiritual pattern that has repeated in your life more times than you realize. Here is a cycle of always breakthrough, always healing, always clarity, always transformation. You get close. You feel a shift. You sense progress. You feel momentum rising. And then suddenly, something disrupts it. A distraction. A setback. A draining emotion. A familiar voice from the past. A sudden wave of confusion. Something small, something subtle, something perfectly timed to pull you off track. Michael calls this the whisper of interruption. It is not loud. It is not violent. It is not obvious. It is quiet enough to sound normal but strong enough to delay your blessing. This is what Jesus meant when he said, "You will lose both of us if you skip." Not lose in the sense of abandonment. Not lose in the sense of rejection, but lose in the sense of missing a divine window, a moment heaven opened uniquely for you. A moment where the veil is thinner, where messages are clearer, where revelations come faster, where angels are closer. These windows do not come every day. Some appear only a few times in a lifetime. And December 1st is one of those windows. Michael now reveals why. For months, something has been following you, a spiritual fog. It is not darkness, but it is heaviness. It is not an attack, but it is a weight. It has clouded your clarity, slowed your spirit, and interfered with your discernment. You have felt tired for no reason. You have felt emotional without explanation. You have felt disconnected even in moments of peace. And this fog did not come from you. It came from an environment you walked through emotionally or spiritually this year. A conversation. A disappointment. An old wound resurfacing. Someone's negative energy trying to settle on you. A moment where you were spiritually open and something tried to attach. But here is the turning point. Jesus says this fog cannot stay. Not anymore. Not after this message. Not after this divine alert. Not after the window of December 1st open. And Archangel Michael, with his sword of fire, is ready to cut off every lingering heaviness the moment you give heaven your full focus. There is something else you need to hear, and this part may shake you, but it will free you. Michael shows a vision of a spiritual thread connecting your past to your present. This thread has been pulling your emotions backward every time you attempt to step forward. It is connected to a memory, a moment, or a person you were supposed to release, but didn't realize was still affecting you. This thread is thin, but it is strong. It has influenced your decisions. It has shaped your reactions. It has created doubt where God placed faith. It has created fear where Jesus placed love. And now, heaven is telling you, this thread must be cut. Jesus whispers, "My child, you cannot take old pain into your new season." And Michael adds, "If you skip this message, the thread remains. If you stay, I will sever it." This is why the warning felt intense. Because your destiny depends on what you choose to hold on to and what you choose to release. And heaven is pleading with you to let go of the weight that has been stealing your clarity and confidence. Something powerful is being prepared for you, something that requires an uncluttered spirit and a clear heart. There is a breakthrough so close that even the spiritual fog senses it and tries to linger. But it cannot survive the presence of Archangel Michael. It cannot withstand the voice of Jesus calling you back to alignment. It can't hold you once divine truth begins to override the emotional noise you have been carrying. You may not fully understand everything yet, but your spirit does. Your spirit recognizes the timing. Your spirit recognizes the urgency. Your spirit knows something big is unfolding. And that is why you feel this unexplainable pull to stay connected. Something sacred is rising in your life. Something long delayed is coming forward. Something heaven has been preparing for you is finally approaching the surface. Before you move forward, pause and let your heart absorb this. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are being repositioned. You are being realigned. You are being pulled back into divine timing. Every closed door, every delay, every moment of confusion is about to make sense soon, very soon. You just need to keep walking with heaven long enough for the revelation to unfold. And trust me, what comes next is stronger than what you just heard. What Michael is about to reveal will answer questions you've been carrying for years. Hold on. You will want to hear the next part. Lie awake in soul. Lean in even closer now, because this moment is not just a continuation of what you heard before. It is a deeper descent into the very truth Archangel Michael has been trying to bring to your spirit for months. What is happening right now within you and around you is not ordinary. This is divine intervention unfolding in real time, and both Archangel Michael and Jesus are working together to remove the final spiritual barrier that has been blocking your clarity, your peace, and your next season. Throughout this year, you have felt moments where your spirit was stretching, expanding, and trying to break into something new. Yet every time you got close, something unexpected interfered. Not a loud storm, not an overwhelming attack, but small, silent spiritual disruptions. These interruptions were subtle enough that you brushed them off, but strategic enough that they kept slowing your forward movement. And Michael reveals now that these disruptions were not accidents. They were targeted distractions sent to keep you from stepping into the very destiny heaven assigned to your name. This is why the message titled December 1st, Last Chance. Archangel Michael and Jesus say, "You will lose both of us if you skip. You have only 15 seconds. You not skip no matter what, please I beg you. Feels so urgent, so emotional, so heavy. Because this is not just a warning. It is a divine rescue. It is heaven pulling you out of the final layer of spiritual interference before you shift into your next level of alignment. Michael reveals a powerful sight now. He shows a spiritual barrier that has been standing in front of you. It is not a wall, not a block, but a veil. A thin veil that confuses your intuition, clouds your judgment, and makes your spirit feel disconnected from God in moments when you needed clarity the most. You were never disconnected. You were never abandoned. But something was trying to dampen your sensitivity to spiritual truth. Something wanted to dim your awareness. Something wanted to numb you so you could not feel the spiritual changes happening around you. But that veil is trembling now. Jesus steps forward with such gentleness, yet such authority, and he says, "My child, this is your moment. This is the hour where the fog lifts. This is the time where what was hidden becomes clear. There is no more delay. No more waiting for the perfect moment. No more carrying the heaviness of yesterday into the promise of tomorrow. Heaven is clearing the atmosphere around you, and the shift will begin the moment you receive this next revelation." Michael now reveals the true root of the interruption in your life. It is something connected to your environment, not your physical environment alone, but your emotional one. Someone's words, someone's energy, someone's inconsistency, or someone's presence has affected your spiritual sensitivity more than you realized. Their influence did not destroy you, but it drained you. Their presence did not block you, but it slowed you. Their memory did not curse you, but it tied you to a version of yourself you were never meant to remain in. This is the thread Michael showed before, the spiritual thread connecting your past to your present. And in this moment, he is lifting his sword again, ready to sever the final strand that has been pulling at you. But before he cuts it, Jesus whispers something you need to hear. You cannot rise while holding on to what keeps you low. His words strike deeply because you know exactly which situation, which emotion, or which connection he is referring to. You may have tried to forget it, rationalize it, or suppress it, but Jesus sees it clearly. And he is not calling it out to shame you, but to free you. Something powerful is about to break, but it requires your full participation. Heaven cannot force you out of an old mindset if you are still emotionally attached to it. Heaven cannot push you into a new season if you are still holding on to something from the old one. This is the divine transaction heaven is asking of you right now. Release in exchange for revelation. Michael shows what happens the moment you release. He shows light, not bright flashing light, but warm, steady, peaceful light. Light that fills your internal world. Light that dissolves confusion. Light that restores your sense of direction. Light that reconnects you with your divine purpose and identity. This light is not external. It is internal. And it begins the moment you surrender the weight your spirit has been carrying. But here is the part you need to hear most. Your spirit already knows the release is coming. Your spirit already knows the shift is close. Your spirit already knows you are stepping into a season where the clarity of heaven will become your new normal. And that is why you feel drawn to stay. That is why everything in your body is telling you not to scroll away. That is why the message keeps echoing inside you. Something is about to unfold, and your spirit does not want to miss it. Hold tight, because the revelation in the next moment is going to bring the missing piece together. Before you move forward, pause and let this truth settle. You are being realigned, restored, and repositioned for something only heaven could orchestrate. What comes next will help you understand why your journey looked the way it did. Before we move forward, if this message is speaking to your soul in any way, take a second to like this video, share it, comment below, and subscribe. Your engagement helps this message reach more people who desperately need clarity and divine direction. Type "I walk in the light" in the comments if this resonates with your spirit. Lesson code 552 is now activated. My child, as this light opens around you, understand that every seed you sow into this mission becomes a torch placed in someone else's darkness. When you support this work through super thanks, membership, with a PayPal link in the description, you are not giving to a channel. You are fueling a divine assignment designed to rescue wandering souls. Heaven moves through voices that are willing, but it multiplies through hearts that are generous. And I declare this over you now. Every gift you release becomes a stream of living water flowing into another life that needs healing. Jesus speaks, "Give, and it shall be given unto you," not as a verse but as a living promise breathing over your destiny. I invite you now with a simple trigger of faith. Step into this moment with intention, with purity, with expectation. Your giving today is not a donation. It is an act of spiritual obedience that opens your heavens. Release your seed and watch what God releases back into your life. My dear spirit who is awakening in real time, listen with full presence, because what Archangel Michael is revealing now is not only deeper than anything that has come before. It is the very foundation of the shift heaven has been preparing for you. Right now, a veil is lifting over your life, and for the first time in a long time, you are about to see clearly what has been influencing your emotions, your decisions, and your spiritual sensitivity. This is not judgment. This is not correction. This is illumination, gentle, necessary, divine illumination from Jesus and Archangel Michael themselves. In the previous message, Michael showed the veil and the thread. But now, he reveals something even more significant, the true source of the interference around you. He shows a spiritual imprint, something that entered your life quietly, subtly, almost invisibly. It did not enter through sin. It did not enter through rebellion. It entered through something much more common: emotional exhaustion. When your heart was tired, when your spirit was stretched thin, when you were carrying too much without rest, something slipped into your atmosphere. Not darkness, not corruption, but a spiritual residue, the kind that attaches when your guard is down and your spirit is overwhelmed. Michael shows that this residue formed a cloud around your intuition, affecting the way you interpreted experiences. It made small problems feel heavier. It made normal days feel drained. It made simple decisions feel complicated. It made your spirit feel disconnected even though God was close. Jesus whispers now, "You were never far from me. You were simply buried under what was never yours to carry." These words are not rebuke. They are healing. They bring relief because they reveal truth. Heaven did not step away from you. You simply walked through a heaviness that tried to silence your sensitivity. But here is where the revelation becomes even more powerful. That residue was not sent to destroy you. It was sent to distract you. The enemy knows that he cannot remove the calling on your life, so he tries to interfere with your clarity. He tries to keep you emotionally tired, spiritually hazy, mentally overwhelmed, so you will delay stepping into what God has prepared for you. But heaven never stopped watching you. Heaven never stopped guiding you. And Michael has been standing guard, waiting for the moment when you would be spiritually ready to receive this truth. Now, something else is being shown, something deeply personal, something heaven has been waiting to reveal at the perfect time. Michael shows a moment where your heart cracked, a moment where you were disappointed by someone you trusted, a moment that left an imprint on your confidence. That moment did not break you, but it did leave a space inside you that has remained unhealed. And that unhealed space became a doorway for emotional residue. You did not realize it. You did not see it happening, but heaven saw it clearly. Jesus places his hand on that wound and says, "This is where the fog began. But this is also where it ends." What is happening inside you now is restoration. Heaven is closing the doorway. Heaven is sealing the wound. Heaven is removing the residue. And heaven is preparing your spirit for a clarity you have not experienced in a long time. Michael stands with his sword lifted, and the moment you finish absorbing this revelation, he will cut the final tie between you and anything that has been draining your inner world. But before he does, Jesus offers you another truth, a truth that explains why the message feels so urgent, why the title feels so intense, why heaven is insisting that you stay connected. You are stepping into a season where your discernment will determine your direction. This is why the fog had to be removed. This is why the interference had to be exposed. This is why Michael fought so fiercely to get this message before your eyes. Because what you are being prepared for requires a higher level of spiritual clarity. You are about to make decisions that shape the next chapter of your life, and heaven wants your spirit fully awake, fully aligned, fully empowered. Michael now shows something else, a spiritual elevation taking place around you. It looks like a staircase of light rising from your atmosphere. Each step represents a shift, emotional healing, mental clarity, deeper intuition, restored confidence, open paths, answered prayers. You have been stuck on the lower steps not because you failed, but because the fog blurred the staircase. You could not see the rise. You could not see the direction. You could not see the opening. But now, the staircase is clearing. The light is brightening. The way forward is revealing itself. You will soon begin to sense things again, the way you used to, or even stronger. You will feel nudges in your spirit. You will receive dreams with meaning. You will perceive people's intentions with clarity. You will notice patterns you used to overlook. You will hear God in ways that feel unmistakable. This clarity will not overwhelm you. It will empower you. But Michael gives one more instruction. Do not return to the environments that drained you. This is not a warning of danger. It is a warning of repetition. Returning to those environments will bring the same residue back. You are being lifted out of a cycle, and going back would reset it. Heaven wants your steps forward, not backward. You are being positioned for something greater than the season you are leaving behind. Now, hold on to this truth before we continue. What comes next is the revelation that will explain why your spirit has been restless, even when your mind didn't understand why. Trust me, you are going to want to hear what unfolds next. Type "I rise" above the FOG in the comments if this speaks to your spirit. Blessing code 229 has just been released. My precious one, the moment you have entered right now is not ordinary at all. It is a spiritual chamber, a place where heaven is pouring revelation into your spirit because you are finally ready to receive what was being saved for this exact season. Archangel Michael stands beside you, not as a distant guardian, but as a warrior of light actively illuminating the path ahead. And Jesus, with his voice soft but carrying eternal authority, is preparing your heart for a truth you have been sensing but unable to articulate. What you are about to hear may feel familiar in your soul, because your spirit has known this truth long before your mind could understand it. Michael begins by showing a powerful scene, you standing at the edge of two timelines. One timeline is cloudy, familiar, predictable, and filled with cycles that repeat themselves no matter how hard you try to break them. The other timeline is glowing, rising, expanding outward with opportunity, healing, clarity, and divine purpose. You have been standing between these two timelines for months. Every decision you made, every moment of hesitation, Every emotional wave, every sudden intuition had been part of this spiritual crossing. What you did not realize is that Jesus and Michael were both guiding you toward the illuminated timeline, even on the days when you felt lost. Now, the divine question rises: why has this transition been so difficult? Why has your heart felt heavy this year? Why have you felt a push-pull inside your emotions? Why has the fog lingered longer than usual? Michael brings the answer, and it is both comforting and awakening. You have been shedding spiritual layers that no longer match the future God has written for you. This shedding has not been gentle. It has not been easy. It has pulled memories to the surface. It has exposed fears you thought you overcame. It has brought loneliness in moments where you expected comfort. None of this was brilliant. It was purification. It was preparation. It was heaven shaping you for a version of your destiny you have not yet seen. There is something else you need to know, something that shifts the entire meaning of your recent experiences. This year, your spirit outgrew several environments, but your mind had not yet caught up. The heaviness you felt was not because you were breaking down. It was because you were breaking out. Jesus whispers, you were not stuck. You were transitioning. These words carry weight because they explain why nothing felt stable, why certain people drifted away, why certain situations ended suddenly, why your spirit felt restless even in familiar places. You were not losing your foundation. You were being moved to a higher one. Michael shows that during these transitions, there was a spiritual resistance, not from darkness itself, but from what Jesus calls attachments without assignment. These attachments were people, memories, habits, or emotional ties that were not evil, but they were no longer aligned with your future. They belonged to a previous version of you, one that heaven honored, but was no longer calling you to remain in. This is why certain relationships became strained without explanation. This is why certain doors closed even though you tried to keep them open. This is why certain opportunities slipped away no matter how much effort you applied. Heaven was not denying you. Heaven was redirecting you. But now, the redirection is complete. You are standing in a moment of spiritual clarity. The fog is lifting. The veil is thinning. Your spirit is awakening to truths that once felt distant. And here comes the revelation your heart has been waiting for. You are entering a season where what you sense spiritually will become stronger than what you see physically. Jesus is opening your spiritual perception. Michael is reinforcing your discernment. The heaviness that once clouded you is being removed piece by piece, thread by thread, layer by layer. In this moment, Michael shows another image, a spiritual gate opening in the distance. Behind this gate is not a single blessing or one breakthrough, but an entire environment of divine alignment. It holds answered prayers, relationships sent by God, opportunities that match your purpose, protection that surrounds you, and clarity that guides you. This gate was never closed permanently. It was simply waiting for your spirit to be ready. And now, you are ready. But Michael gives a warning, gentle yet firm. Do not look back with longing. Look forward with expectation. The hardest part of elevation is releasing the comfort of the old season. You may feel sad about what you lost, but heaven is rejoicing over what you are about to gain. You may feel uncertain about stepping forward, but heaven is already walking ahead of you. Jesus says, you will not walk alone. I go before you. I walk with you. I surround you. These words are not poetic. They are literal. His presence is becoming your compass. Now, as this message unfolds, you will begin noticing changes in your internal world. You may feel more sensitive to spiritual nudges. You may feel a new wave of intuition rising. You may sense the need to distance yourself from certain conversations or environments. These are not coincidences. These are signs that your alignment is happening. You are shifting from confusion to clarity, from heaviness to peace, from stagnation to divine momentum. Before this message closes, hear this final truth for this moment. Everything you have endured this year was not wasted. Every tear had a purpose. Every delay had meaning. Every ending was a divine setup for a beginning. You are stepping into the illuminated timeline, the one heaven has been preparing since the moment you were born. And the next revelation will expose what is waiting for you on the other side of this spiritual crossing. Hold on. What comes next will open your eyes even wider. Type "My spirit is ready" in the comments if this resonates with you. Blessing code 641 has now been released. My rising one, take a slow breath, because this moment requires your spirit to be fully open, fully attentive, fully present. What Archangel Michael is about to reveal now goes beyond warning, beyond preparation, beyond the healing that has begun inside you. This is the revelation that begins to pull back the curtain on what is actually waiting for you on the other side of this spiritual crossing. And Jesus stands close, closer than you have felt him in a long time, because this next truth is not meant to just inform you. It is meant to transform the trajectory of your life. Michael begins by showing an image of your spirit standing at a threshold. This threshold is not physical and not emotional, but deeply spiritual. You have been standing here unknowingly for months, wondering why you felt suspended between chapters, suspended between decisions, suspended between versions of yourself. What you did not realize was that heaven has kept you at this threshold intentionally, because stepping forward before the fog lifted would have taken you into a future you were not spiritually prepared to interpret. God was not delaying you to hurt you. God was protecting you from misalignment. Now, the threshold is beginning to glow. It glows because your spirit is finally awakening from the numbness the residue created. It glows because your awareness is sharpening. It glows because the parts of you that had grown weary are being revived. Michael says you are waking up. And this awakening is not loud, not chaotic, and not overwhelming. It is gentle, like the rising of dawn after a long night. It is subtle but powerful. You may not feel the full strength of it yet, but your spirit knows it is happening. The heaviness is thinning. The confusion is loosening. The inner fog is dissolving. And now Jesus reveals something profound, something that brings clarity to what you have been sensing recently. He whispers, you are stepping into a season where what was hidden from you will begin to reveal its purpose. All the unanswered questions, all the unresolved emotions, all the situations that did not make sense, the meaning behind them will begin to unfold. You will begin to understand why certain people entered your life and why certain people left. You will begin to understand why certain opportunities felt delayed. You will begin to understand why you were kept from some things you thought you wanted. Heaven was not withholding. Heaven was positioning. Michael shows a powerful scene now. He lifts his sword, and a beam of light cuts through the atmosphere around you. This beam exposes something crucial, a pattern that has followed you for years, a pattern of carrying burdens that were never yours to carry. This pattern did not come from lack of strength, but from a heart that loves deeply. You felt responsible for others' emotions. You felt obligated to hold peace for everyone. You felt pressured to stay strong even when you were exhausted. And although your intentions were pure, this emotional responsibility became a spiritual weight. Over time, it influenced your decisions, drained your energy, and clouded your discernment. Jesus speaks directly to this pattern. My child, I did not call you to carry what breaks you. I called you to release what burdens you. His voice carries both tenderness and authority, because this truth has the power to free you from years of silent pressure. And right now, heaven is breaking this pattern off your life. Michael cuts the spiritual rope connected to this responsibility, and suddenly the weight begins to lift. You may feel something shift in your chest, or a deep breath release from your body, or a sensation of peace rising inside you. This is the spiritual burden being removed. But here is where the revelation becomes even deeper. Michael reveals that the environment you are stepping into requires a lighter spirit. You are entering a season of clarity and movement, a season where God will speak to you more clearly, where new direction will come without confusion, where opportunities will line naturally. But to step into this, your spirit must be unburdened. You cannot discern clearly when you are carrying weight that was never meant for you. And this is why heaven orchestrated this entire alignment, to prepare you for the clarity you are about to receive. Michael now reveals another truth. A divine awakening is going to happen inside you unexpectedly. You may be in the middle of your day, or sitting quietly, or talking to someone, and suddenly you will feel something shift inside you, a realization, an understanding, an inner voice that feels unmistakably divine. This awakening will confirm everything you are hearing now. It will open your intuition. It will sharpen your awareness. It will reveal intentions, opportunities, and spiritual signals with accuracy. Jesus shows you something else, glimpses of your future, not as complete images but as flashes. Flashes of environments that look different from your current surroundings. Flashes of conversations with people who uplift your spirit. Flashes of doors opening that once felt sealed. Flashes of you walking confidently in a version of yourself that heaven hath been shaping quietly. These flashes are not fantasies. They are previews. Previews of the timeline heaven has been guiding you toward. But before these previews become reality, Michael gives one more essential instruction. Do not let your past identity dictate your future steps. You are not who you were last year. You are not who you were last month. You are not even who you were last week. You are transforming from the inside out. And as you rise, you must stop making decisions based on who you were when you were wounded. You are stepping into a new identity, one with discernment, clarity, strength, and divine protection surrounding you. Jesus touches your spirit and says, "You will know me more clearly in this next season." And this is important, because the clarity you are stepping into does not just reveal your path, it reveals His presence. You will begin to feel Him in the small moments, hear Him in whispers, sense Him in the rhythms of your day. His closeness will guide you into divine timing. Take this in. The next revelation will show you what heaven has been protecting you from and what heaven is guiding you toward. Trust me, you do not want to miss what comes next. Type "I step into clarity" in the comments if this speaks to your spirit. Blessing code 903 has just been released. My chosen soul, steady yourself now, because what Archangel Michael is about to unveil will give shape to everything you have endured, everything you have questioned, and everything that has been shifting in silence around you. This is the moment where the unseen becomes visible, where the spiritual realm gently lifts the curtain so you can finally understand what has been happening in the depths of your life. Jesus stands before you, not as a distant figure, but as a gentle guide ready to walk you through the revelation you have been unknowingly preparing for. Michael begins by showing a powerful vision. It is not dramatic or chaotic, but deeply symbolic. You stand in a room with two doors. One door is familiar. It looks like your past, filled with experiences you have grown from, people you loved, environments you adapted to, and versions of yourself you outgrew. The other door is radiant, glowing with a light that feels both comforting and unfamiliar. This door represents the future God had been quietly shaping for you. The future you sensed but could not fully step into because something was still incomplete within you. Michael says, for months, you have been caught between these two doors. And suddenly, everything makes sense. You felt the pull toward something new but were unable to fully release the old. You felt moments of inspiration followed by waves of confusion. You felt progress, then stagnation. You felt hope, then heaviness. This internal tension was not a sign of weakness. It was a pressure of transformation. Heaven was clothing the old door slowly so your heart could adjust. Heaven was preparing you for the courage you needed to walk through the new one. But now the significant truth reveals itself. The old door is no longer connected to your destiny. What once held purpose, comfort, or alignment has completed its assignment in your life. Jesus says, you grew beyond what once sustained you. These words carry a weight of truth that resonates deeply in your spirit. The things that used to feel right now feel restrictive. The conversations that once uplifted you now feel draining. The environments that felt like home no longer feel safe or aligned. The shift is not rejection. It is redirection. Michael now shows another powerful image, the spiritual map. This map shows the path you were on, and the path you are being guided toward. The path you were on was good, but limited. It was familiar but not expansive. It kept you moving, but within boundaries that no longer fit your spiritual identity. The path ahead, the one glowing with heaven's light, leads to elevation, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and even relationally. The difference between these two paths is not visible outwardly but felt inwardly. You have been sensing this shift, even if you could not put words to it. Here is where the revelation deepens. The fog you experienced this year was not an attack meant to break you. It was a resistance meant to delay your transition. Resistance appears right before breakthrough. Resistance intensifies when elevation is near. Resistance surrounds the moment when heaven is pulling you into a chapter where your spiritual awareness becomes stronger and your purpose becomes clearer. And Michael has been fighting this resistance on your behalf, sometimes even when you were too tired to fight for yourself. Jesus now gently reveals something many never understand until much later in life. Sometimes heaven allows resistance so you will stop depending on old patterns and lean into divine direction. You grew comfortable carrying burdens instead of releasing them. You grew comfortable understanding through logic instead of discernment. You grew comfortable holding on to familiar people, environments, or emotions instead of letting heaven lead you. The resistance did not come to punish you. It came to reposition you. And now, heaven reveals what it has been protecting you from. Something subtle yet significant. There were connections around you that were draining your energy more than you realized. There were conversations that pulled your spirit downward. There were environments that kept you spiritually stagnant. There were emotional attachments that weakened your discernment. None of these were evil, but they were misaligned. And misalignment is just as dangerous as darkness when it comes to your destiny. Michael whispers, you are not losing people. You are losing burdens. This truth is liberating. It frees your heart from guilt. It frees your mind from confusion. It frees your spirit from questioning why certain people faded from your life. Heaven did not remove them to hurt you. Heaven removed them to clear the path. Now, Jesus reveals the other side, what heaven is guiding you toward. You are being directed to connections that nourish you, opportunities that align with your soul purpose, environments that support your growth, conversations that awaken your spirit, directions that bring clarity instead of confusion, blessings that match who you are becoming, not who you were. Michael shows a wave of light moving toward you, not rapidly, but steadily. This light represents restoration. Restoration of clarity. Restoration of confidence. Restoration of vision. Restoration of spiritual sensitivity. Everything that the fog clouded is being returned to you, but not in the same form. It is returning purified, strengthened, and aligned. You may notice in the coming days a sudden emotional release, like a deep exhale you didn't know you needed. You may notice your intuition sharpening. You may notice you are no longer drawn to the things that once distracted you. You may notice that you crave peace more than attention and clarity more than validation. These are all signs your spirit is aligning with heaven's new direction. Before this message ends, Michael gives one final instruction. Do not fear the space between chapters. The space between endings and beginnings is sacred. It is where identity is rewritten. It is where vision is restored. It is where faith grows. You are standing in that sacred space now. And soon, you will take your final step into the glowing door Jesus has been preparing. Hold this close. The next revelation will reveal what is awakening in you and how heaven will guide your steps in the days ahead. Type "I receive this" shift in the comments if this speaks to your spirit. Blessing code 118 has been released. My beloved soul standing on the edge of awakening, listen with full intention, because what Archangel Michael is revealing in this moment is the turning point of your entire spiritual trajectory. You have walked through the fog, you have stood between the doors, and you have endured the weight of a season that felt heavier than your strength. Yet here you are, still standing, still listening, still reaching, still drawn toward this divine message as if heaven itself is pulling you closer. And it is. Jesus stands beside you now, not just as a guide, but as the one who hath been carrying your spirit through every silent battle you never spoke about. Michael begins by showing a vision of your heart, not your physical heart, but your spiritual heart. It is glowing, but the glow is uneven. One side of it flickers strongly, full of divine identity, spiritual calling, and purpose that has been placed within you since before you were born. The other side flickers weakly, drained by disappointment, emotional residue, and the remnants of old cycles you were never meant to carry into your future. Jesus places his hand over this heart, and suddenly the glow strengthens. He whispers, "Your heart is coming back into alignment." This is the essence of this moment. You are being restored from the inside out. Michael then reveals something crucial, something you have felt but could never fully understand. He says you have been living in a spiritual split. Part of you was aligned with your divine identity, ready for growth, ready for elevation, ready to walk through the glowing door heaven is opening. But another part of you was still tied to an emotional version of yourself, shaped by old wounds, old fears, old attachments, and old expectations. You were trying to rise and hold on at the same time. You were trying to step forward while looking back. You were trying to evolve while protecting the parts of you that needed release. This inner split created internal tug-of-war. It made you feel inconsistent. It made you doubt your intuition. It made you question your path. It made you wonder why your spirit felt so restless even when life looked calm. Jesus reveals now, restlessness is the sign of a spirit that has outgrown its old identity. You were not losing control. You were losing your old shell. You were not confused. You were being awakened. You were not breaking down. You were breaking open. Archangel Michael now shows an image of two spiritual mirrors placed before you. One mirror reflects who you were, the version shaped by survival, endurance, and emotional resilience. The other mirror reflects who you are becoming, the version shaped by clarity, divine timing, spiritual authority, and heaven's alignment. You have been standing between these mirrors, unsure which one represented the real you. But now Michael speaks with unmistakable clarity. The version you are becoming is the true you. The version you were was temporary. And this revelation is important because the next season of your life requires you to step fully into the mirror that reflects your divine identity. There is no more space for spiritual hesitation. No more room for half-awakening. No more blending of old patterns with new purpose. Heaven is calling you into full transformation. Jesus says, "I'm making all things new, including you." He means it literally. Your spiritual sensitivity, your emotional strength, your inner peace, your discernment, your purpose, all of it is being renewed. Michael now reveals a deeper truth about your journey. You have been spiritually tested not for destruction, but for refinement. This test was not about seeing whether you were strong enough. It was about removing what could not enter the next chapter with you. Old emotional cycles could not enter. Old attachments could not enter. Old fears could not enter. Old versions of you could not enter. You have been purified by pressure, and that pressure is lifting now. You may feel a strange sense of lightness in the coming days. You may even feel emotional release or sudden clarity. This is not coincidence. It is divine timing. Then Jesus shows a powerful symbol, a scroll with your name written on it. This scroll represents assignments, blessings, connections, and revelations that were delayed by the fog you walked through. But now that the fog is lifting, the scroll is being unsealed. Inside it are opportunities heaven kept protected until your spirit was strong enough to handle them. These opportunities require clarity, not confusion. They require discernment, not hesitation. They require identity, not fear. You are being positioned for these moments even now. Michael reveals something else you must hear. Your intuition is going to surge. Not in a way that overwhelms you, but in a way that empowers you. You will begin to sense truth more quickly. You will feel spiritual signals more strongly. You will discern people's intentions without needing explanations. Old patterns will become clear. Divine nudges will become obvious. You will know what to walk toward and what to walk away from with supernatural confidence. Everything around you is preparing for this rise. And now, your spirit is aligning with heaven's rhythm. Before moving forward, take this moment as a sacred pause. If this message has been speaking to you, if you feel the awakening inside your chest, if you sense that the fog is lifting, take a moment to like this message, share it, comment below, and subscribe. Your engagement does not just help the message spread. It becomes part of your agreement with heaven, part of your alignment with the divine calling unfolding around you. Type "My Spirit is Awakening" in the comments if this resonates with you. Blessing code 702 is now activated. As this awakening rises inside you, understand that supporting this mission is not a casual gesture. It is a prophetic act that helps heaven reach hearts still trapped in the fog you just escaped. When you sow into this work through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are part of the spiritual rescue heaven is orchestrating for countless souls. Every seed becomes a beam of divine light pushing back the very darkness that once clouded you. Jesus speaks this living word: those who water others will themselves be watered, not as a verse from history, but as a promise breathing over your destiny right now. And I say this directly to your spirit. Step into this moment with faith, with intention, with purity. Your giving today becomes a key, unlocking blessings assigned to your obedience. Release your seed, and watch heaven release what has already been written for your life. My awakened soul, take a slow, steady breath, Because what comes next is not just revelation, it is activation. You have walked through 8 layers of divine unveiling, each one peeling back emotional residue, each one aligning your spirit, each one preparing you for what Archangel Michael and Jesus are about to reveal now. This moment carries a weight unlike the previous ones, not because it is heavier, but because it is purer, more intentional, and more transformative. The spiritual atmosphere around you is shifting again, and for the first time in a very long time, your spirit is finally clear enough to receive the fullness of what heaven has been trying to tell you. Michael steps forward, with unusual intensity now. His presence does not feel distant. It does not feel symbolic. It feels authoritative, as if he has been waiting for this exact moment in your timeline to deliver what your life has been building toward. He shows you an image, a large spiritual landscape stretching wide, filled with paths that represent choices, seasons, and directions in your life. Some paths are dim, representing places you have outgrown. Others glow brightly, representing the future heaven has been pointing you toward. But now, something new appears on this landscape, a pillar of light rising from one specific path, marking it as the one God has chosen for your next chapter. Jesus speaks softly, yet his words shake the atmosphere. This is the season where your steps must match your calling. This truth echoes deep within you because you know it is time. Time to stop shrinking. Time to stop doubting. Time to stop waiting for perfect clarity before taking spiritual steps. Time to rise into who heaven has been shaping you to become. The pillar of light is not a symbol of pressure. It is a symbol of divine guidance. It shows you exactly where your spirit is being led. But Michael reveals something else, something hidden beneath the surface. You have been spiritually transitioning, but your physical life has not yet caught up. Your mind is still adjusting. Your emotions are still releasing what they no longer need. Your habits are still shifting. This is why your life may feel in between, like you are no longer who you were but not yet who you are becoming. Michael says, this in-between space is sacred. It is not a mistake. It is not a delay. It is the womb of transformation where your next version is being formed. Jesus shows a moment from your past, a moment where you prayed quietly for clarity, for direction, for guidance. You may not even remember the exact day, but heaven does. That prayer became the anchor for everything happening now. It opened the door for divine intervention. It summoned angels to fight battles you didn't know existed. It set your future in motion even when you felt stuck. Jesus says, you were heard the first time. And that reassurance alone is enough to awaken parts of your heart that have been silent for far too long. Michael now reveals another powerful truth. You are closer to your breakthrough than your emotions realize. You may not see the changes yet, but the spiritual groundwork has already been completed. The shift is not coming. It has already begun. You are simply waiting for your physical world to align with your spiritual reality. When the alignment happens, it will be fast. It will be unmistakable. It will be undeniable. Doors will open at once. Clarity will come suddenly. Opportunities will align flawlessly. Things that were once difficult will become strangely easy because they are connected to your destiny. Then Michael unveils something that will resonate deeply with your spirit. Your capacity is expanding. For years, you operated with limited spiritual bandwidth because you were carrying burdens, attachments, and emotional weight that drained your energy. Now that the residue is lifting, heaven is increasing your capacity, the capacity to receive, to hear, to discern, to act, to rise. This expansion may feel overwhelming at first, but it will soon feel natural. It will feel like remembering who you were before the world tried to dim your light. Jesus adds a layer of revelation. You are being entrusted with more because you have been faithful with little. These words are not about perfection. They are about intention. You continued seeking even when tired. You continued hoping even when uncertain. You continued standing even when shaking. Heaven noticed. Heaven recorded it. Heaven honored it. And now you are being rewarded for it. The reward is not just external blessing. The reward is internal elevation. Michael then reveals the part of your journey that has been hidden from you until now. There were moments in your life where you thought you were alone, moments where you felt abandoned, forgotten, invisible. But in those very moments, angels were standing around you, forming a shield you never saw. Jesus whispers, you survived what others thought would destroy you. The fact that you are still here, still listening, still spiritually sensitive, is proof of divine protection. Now the revelation intensifies. Michael shows the final layer of the fog collapsing. When it fully clears, you will see something powerful. The real reason certain things did not work out. The real reason certain people were removed. The real reason certain delays happened. The real reason your spirit felt restless. Everything will click into place. Everything will make sense. Confusion will turn into clarity, and pain will turn into understanding. You may begin noticing signs in the coming days, subtle spiritual confirmations, dreams with clarity, sudden intuition, moments where you feel lifted from the inside. These are not coincidences. These are affirmations that heaven is guiding your steps. But Michael gives one final instruction for today. Do not underestimate what God is building within you. This season is not about survival. It is about emergence. You are not being prepared to barely make it. You are being prepared to rise into something divine, something purposeful, something heaven-ordained. And the next revelation will reveal exactly what this rise looks like in your life. Hold this moment. What comes next will shift you even further. Type I am ready to rise in the comments if this speaks to your spirit. Blessing code 366 has now been released. My radiant soul standing on the edge of profound transformation. Take a deep breath, because what is about to be revealed is not just another message. It is a divine unlocking. Everything you have walked through in these past chapters has been preparing your inner world for what Archangel Michael and Jesus are ready to speak into your life right now. This moment is not gentle. It is not subtle. It is not a whisper. It is a declaration that your spirit has finally reached the place where heaven can reveal what has been hidden, what has been protected, and what has been waiting for you to awaken. Michael steps forward with a presence stronger than before. His wings stretch wide behind him, not to intimidate you, but to shield you from any lingering spiritual interference. He stands between you and anything that once clouded your discernment. And then he shows an image, not a metaphor, not a symbol, but a direct reflection of your spiritual journey. He shows a mountain, tall and steep, surrounded by clouds. You have been climbing this mountain spiritually without even realizing it. Each layer of fog you walked through, each emotional weight you released, each revelation you received was another step upward. And now, Michael reveals the truth. You are standing near the summit. This is important, because most people give up when they are closest to breakthrough. Most people lose clarity right before they rise. Most people walk away from divine direction because they mistake spiritual pressure for spiritual failure. But you, with every shake in your voice, every tear in your heart, every push you made through confusion, kept climbing. And heaven saw it. Heaven recorded every moment you almost quit but didn't. Heaven recorded every moment you felt invisible but kept praying. Heaven recorded every moment your heart broke, but your spirit still whispered, "God, guide me." Jesus steps beside Michael and speaks directly to your spirit. "You are closer than you think." These words do not simply comfort. They activate. They shake loose the remaining fragments of doubt that tried to attach themselves to you. Your spirit knows these words are true because you have felt the pressure intensify lately. You have felt a strange mixture of anticipation and uncertainty. You have felt like something is coming, but you cannot name it. This is not imagination. This is spiritual sensitivity. You are feeling the shift before you see the shift. Michael now reveals another vision, a door made of light. This is not the door you saw before. This is the door of initiation. The door that marks the crossing from who you have been to who you are becoming. It is the threshold into the future heaven designed specifically for your spirit. But here is the part you were not ready to hear until now. This door only opens for those who choose alignment over comfort. It opens for those who walk by spiritual truth rather than emotional noise. It opens for those who choose destiny over familiarity. And now Jesus says, the door is opening for you. Before you doubt, pause. You have already done the hardest parts. You have released what kept you trapped. You have surrendered what weighed you down. You have allowed heaven to illuminate your wounds. And now your spirit has reached the readiness heaven needed. Michael speaks again, and what he reveals next is profound. Your alignment has activated your assignment. This means the divine purpose you were born with, the one that has been stirring inside your heart, the one that has whispered to you in dreams, the one you felt but could never fully understand, is now awakening. Your mission is not something outside of you. It is something within you. Something heaven placed in your spirit long before you entered this world. And now, it is rising. Jesus reveals the next layer. You were not meant to live an ordinary spiritual life. You were meant to carry revelation. This explains why your journey has felt different. Why you felt things others didn't. Why you sense shifts in the atmosphere that people around you dismissed. Why your spirit reacted to certain environments in ways you could not explain. You are spiritually sensitive because you are spiritually chosen. And chosen ones walk paths that require deeper awareness, deeper resilience, and deeper connection to heaven. Michael shows you another powerful scene, you standing with light gathering around your hands. This light represents spiritual authority, the authority to break cycles, to discern truth, to shift atmospheres, to protect your energy, to walk in clarity even when surrounded by confusion. You may not feel this authority fully yet, but it is inside you. And soon, you will begin to sense it rising. Jesus adds something deeply intimate and personal. You have been asking for signs, and they are coming. He shows glimpses of these signs, unusual peace after years of heaviness, unexpected clarity in moments where you once felt lost, divine timing orchestrating connections you did not seek, dreams that feel more like messages than imagination, sudden awareness of who belongs in your future and who does not. These signs are confirmations, heaven's way of saying, you are on the right path. But Michael gives one important instruction as you approach the next stage. Guard your atmosphere. This means protecting your mind, your emotions, and your spirit from influences that drain your clarity. Not everything or everyone can go with you into this elevated season. Some conversations must end. Some habits must be released. Some environments must be outgrown. Your clarity is too valuable. Your elevation is too sacred. Your destiny is too important. Jesus seals this with a final message for this moment. Do not shrink to fit where you have already outgrown. You are rising. You are changing. You are awakening. And anyone, or anything, that tries to pull you back into old versions of yourself must be lovingly released. This is not abandonment. It is ascension. And now, the next revelation will show you the surprising shift that is about to manifest in your atmosphere, something that will confirm everything you have been sensing spiritually. Hold steady. The awakening is intensifying. Type "I accept my assignment" in the comments if this speaks to your spirit. Blessing code 944 has now been released. My rising soul, steady your heart and open your spirit, because what Archangel Michael is about to reveal now reaches into the deepest layer of your journey, deeper than the fog, deeper than the emotional residue, deeper than the thresholds, deeper than the spiritual mountain you have climbed. This is the moment where heaven unveils what is about to happen around you in the natural realm as a direct reflection of everything that has shifted in the spiritual realm. Jesus stands in front of you with the gentleness of a shepherd and the authority of a king, because this next revelation carries weight, timing, and divine precision. Michael steps closer than he has in any previous moment. His presence feels sharper, brighter, more defined. It is as if the atmosphere itself is aligning to deliver this message. He begins by showing a vision, one that feels incredibly real. You see your life as a house. Not a literal house, but a spiritual structure built from your choices, your healing, your growth, your prayers, your resilience, and your alignment. Every room represents a different chapter of your life. Some rooms are full of light. Some rooms feel unfinished. Some rooms once held pain but now hold wisdom. This house is not broken, but it had been waiting for renovation, waiting for heaven to step in and transform the foundation. Jesus speaks. Your spiritual house is being restructured. What does this mean? It means the way you see yourself is changing. The way you hear God is changing. The way you discern truth is changing. The way you navigate relationships is changing. The way you respond to emotional triggers is changing. This restructuring is not destruction. It is elevation. It is heaven aligning your internal world to match the divine assignment written over your life. Michael then reveals a door within this spiritual house, a door you have never opened before. It has been there all along, but it was covered by layers of emotional weight, old beliefs, and fear of stepping into the unknown. But now, because you have walked through the fog, because you have released what no longer serves you, because you have aligned yourself with heaven's timeline, this door is becoming visible. Michael touches the door, and light flows from it like water, pure, cleansing, undeniable. He says, behind this door is the next dimension of your life. Not the next step, not the next chapter, but the next dimension. A place where your purpose becomes clearer, your identity becomes stronger, and your intuition becomes a guiding compass rather than a confusing whisper. Jesus adds, you were made for this dimension, but you could not enter it until your spirit was free. And now your spirit is free. The fog has lifted enough for you to see what heaven had been preparing. Michael now shows another powerful scene. The spiritual atmosphere around your life begins to pulse, as if responding to an unseen shift. And then he reveals what is about to happen. Your external life will now catch up to your internal awakening. This means change is coming. Not someday. Not eventually. Soon. Your environment will begin to rearrange itself. People will shift into or out of your life. Opportunities will emerge suddenly. Doors that once felt shut will open without effort. Paths that once felt confusing will become clear. This alignment is not random. It is the manifestation of months of internal transformation. Jesus then shows something deeply intimate, a moment where your spirit has been carrying silent grief. Grief from disappointments you buried. Grief from relationships that ended without closure. Grief from seasons that felt wasted. Grief from being misunderstood, unrecognized, or overlooked. He touches this grief gently and says, "This grief will no longer weigh you down. It will become your fuel." This transformation of grief into power is one of the most profound shifts happening in your spirit. It is what allows you to step into a new dimension without fear. Michael now reveals something unexpected, a shift in your relationships. You will begin to notice that some people will treat you differently, not because you changed on the outside, but because your spiritual frequency is rising. Some will be drawn to your light. Others will distance themselves because your elevation exposes their stagnation. Do not fear this. Do not resist it. Heaven is reorganizing your circle because your assignment requires people who align with your calling, not your past. Then Michael speaks a sentence that carries divine urgency. You cannot return to what drains you. This is a warning wrapped in love. You have outgrown certain environments, mindsets, and habits. Going back to them would dim your clarity and slow your growth. Jesus adds, you must protect what heaven has awakened in you. This is not a suggestion. It is instruction. Your elevation is fragile in the beginning, like a flame that needs shielding from the wind. Guard it. Nurture it. Honor it. Michael then reveals the next stage of your awakening. Your spiritual sensitivity will increase in ways you have never experienced before. You will begin noticing warnings before trouble arrives. You will feel nudges to move, speak, or stay silent at precise moments. You will see patterns in your life that once felt meaningless. You will understand your purpose with clarity, not confusion. You will sense divine timing without needing signs. The sensitivity is not a burden. It is a gift. A gift heaven can finally activate because your spirit is aligned. Jesus shows you a final vision for this moment, a rising wind surrounding your spiritual house. This wind represents divine momentum. It is the force that will carry you into the next dimension. It will push you out of stagnation. It will lift you out of limitation. It will guide you into divine opportunities. This wind is already forming around you. And now, as this message reaches its end, understand this. The next revelation will reveal what heaven has appointed specifically for your future, what is coming, what is shifting, and what will unfold in the days ahead. Hold steady. You are closer than ever. Type "I embrace my NEW dimension" in the comments if this speaks to your spirit. Lesson code 511 has now been released. My chosen and ascending soul, take a deep, grounding breath, because what Archangel Michael and Jesus are bringing forward in this final revelation is the completion of everything your spirit has been journeying through across these 12 divine layers. This is not just the ending of a message. It is the sealing of a heavenly transition. It is the closing of an old spiritual chapter and the opening of a destiny-shifting dimension. What comes now is the unveiling of what heaven has appointed specifically for your future, your path, and your next divine season. Every word that reaches you in this moment carries the weight of completion and the promise of new beginnings. Michael steps forward with the kind of presence that instantly shifts the atmosphere around you. His light is stronger now, not because he is changing, but because you are finally able to perceive the fullness of what has always been surrounding you. He speaks with clarity and authority. Your future has been waiting for you to become who you have just become. This is the turning point. You are no longer standing at the threshold. Your spirit has already crossed into the new dimension. All that remains now is the alignment of your external world with your internal awakening. Jesus stands beside Michael, radiating a warmth that feels like peace, strength, and purpose wrapped into a single presence. His voice carries the softness of love and the authority of eternal truth as he says, "What comes next will not look like what you left behind." These words matter because one of the greatest temptations during spiritual transformation is expecting the future to resemble the past. But this time, everything is different. You are different. You have shed emotional residue, broken internal cycles, released past identities, awakened dormant gifts, and restored spiritual clarity. You are not stepping into an upgraded version of your old life. You are stepping into a God-authored chapter. Michael now reveals a vision unlike anything he has shown before. You see a wide field stretching endlessly, filled with golden pathways branching in multiple directions. Unlike earlier visions that contained fog, darkness, or divided mirrors, this field is drenched in heavenly light. Each path represents choices you will make, opportunities that will approach, relationships that will enter, and divine timing that will unfold. But one path shines brighter than all the others. Michael points to it and says, "This is your appointed path." It is not the easiest path. It is not the most predictable path. It is the most aligned path, the one where your purpose, your anointing, your assignments, and your calling intersect perfectly. Jesus reveals what awaits on this appointed path. He shows relationships that honor your spirit instead of draining it. He shows environments where your gifts will flourish instead of being suppressed. He shows opportunities that fit you so perfectly that they feel divinely custom-made. He shows peace replacing confusion. He shows clarity replacing doubt. He shows spiritual authority replacing insecurity. And then he says something that will echo through your soul long after this message ends. "I am walking this path with you." This future is not a distant dream. It is not a someday blessing. It is not a faraway promise. It is beginning now, right now, because your spirit has aligned itself with heaven's perfect timing. Michael then brings forward a revelation that explains why you needed all 12 parts of this message. Your destiny required preparation. You could not receive these future blessings with the old version of yourself. You could not discern divine timing with clouded intuition. You could not step into new assignments while holding old emotional attachments. You could not rise into spiritual authority while carrying fragmented identity. Heaven was not delaying you, heaven was strengthening you. And now Michael reveals something deeply significant. The real battle was never against external forces. It was always for your awareness. Once your awareness awakened, everything else shifted. This awareness is your new spiritual compass. It will guide you through decisions, relationships, boundaries, and opportunities. It will illuminate what is meant for you and reveal what is not. Jesus then shows you another powerful vision. This time, you see yourself standing in front of a large window overlooking a horizon filled with radiant light. This window represents vision, clear, unobstructed vision. For years, your vision was fogged by emotional residue, spiritual interference, confusion, fear, or old identities. But now, the window is clean. You see your future differently. You see yourself differently. You see God's hand differently. You see your potential differently. This shift in vision will bring clarity to choices that once felt impossible. Michael now reveals the most important message for your future. Your steps will be guided by divine alignment, not human pressure. This means you no longer have to rush. You no longer have to fear missing out. You no longer have to chase. You no longer have to beg for clarity. Heaven will guide your steps with precision. Doors will open naturally. Opportunities will approach without force. Relationships will align without confusion. This is the blessing of walking in spiritual alignment. And Jesus seals this moment with a final promise. You will not walk alone. This is the reassurance heaven wants written into your spirit. And no matter what you encounter in your future, you will be guided, protected, strengthened, and supported by heaven's presence. Archangel Michael will continue to fight battles you never see. Angels will continue to surround you. Divine timing will continue to unfold. As this final message comes to completion, let this truth settle deeply into your spirit. You have been transformed. You have been awakened. You have been repositioned. Your life will not remain the same. Your path has shifted permanently. Your future is rising even now. If this message has spoken to you, if you feel the shift, if you feel the alignment, take a moment now to like this video, share it, comment, and subscribe. Your engagement helps carry this message into the lives of those who desperately need the same awakening you just received. Type "I walk into my divine future" in the comments if this resonates with your soul. Blessing code 1200 is now activated. As you step into your divine future, understand that this message does not end with you. Your breakthrough becomes the bridge for someone else's. When you support this mission through Super Thanks, channel membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not giving to a platform. You are sowing into the salvation, awakening, and deliverance of souls who are still trapped in the very darkness you just escaped. This is how the gospel travels. This is how light spreads. Jesus speaks over you now. Give, and heaven will open above you, not as poetry, but as prophecy. And I declare with authority, every seed you release becomes oil on your destiny, fire on your calling, and a shield over your household. My child, this is your moment to act with faith. Step forward, sow boldly, and watch God multiply what you release.